by EMC.
We're back.
What's up, guys?
We're live, guys. Here we go. Expert interrogation with Daniel Demsky of BizMedia. Super excited to have him here. We've got two Canadians this week. We had Mark Klassen on Tuesday, kind of talking about cinematography and freelance stuff. And I don't know, do you even know Mark, Daniel?
Name sounds familiar. I think I do.
Okay. Well, so everybody, we'll welcome everybody here. We got another good call today for you guys. This is going to be super exciting. Lots of you in guest mode right now. Little bit of a heads up if you're new to the call. On the second half of the call, we're going to take your questions. So you guys will be able to listen for the first half, and then the second half, you're going to be able to ask your questions. If you already have some questions, be sure to get them in early. You can use the submit a question button right below Chris. To chat or to leave a question, you've got to log in via either Facebook or Twitter, and you'll be good to go. Also, for anybody new, we're doing, if you're on the page I just loaded there in the chat, we have a GoPro that we're giving away at the end of the month. So if you guys want to get entered to win that, you can just click on that little tab. It'll take you there, and you can sign up. And then what else we got going on? His demo, if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out later, is if you click the About right above this, you'll be able to see a drop down and his demo reels in there. And then also, guys, there's always a replay of these calls. And so if you've got to leave and you've got a question, be sure to submit that question ahead of time because there'll be a replay. So as soon as this call is over, you can start watching the replay of this video. Also, all our old calls are available on the archives page, so you guys can check those out right below. There's a transcription. You can see every question that was discussed within that call. So if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, you can just go right to a specific question and rock it from there. So let's not waste much more time here.
I'm going to say we're almost out of time.
I know. The time's flying.
And that's a wrap. So we're done.
We talked about how you started in the basement like 3 years ago, and now you've got Fortune 500 clients. We're also going to talk a little bit about how, the economy in this whole recession thing might be a little bit of BS and just an excuse for people. And then talk about a little bit about being humble as opposed to having an ego. Those are some of the things we talked about ahead of time. I know a few are disappointed that you didn't have your outfit on that we had in the photo, but, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I can talk a little bit about my story if you just want me to jump into it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
just go ahead.
So we actually started more than 3 years ago. Our business was incorporated just over 3 years ago. We started 4.5, maybe a little bit longer than that. We were in my mom's basement. I was doing a lot of things. I was interning at a radio station, starting to work part-time at the radio station. We do the video stuff as a sort of a freelance thing as we were starting to do. And I was in school, and I worked at Boston Pizza. I don't know if you have that in the States. It's not really like anything to do with Boston. It's a Canadian pizza place. And I served. So I was sleeping 4 hours a day, juggling a bunch of different things. And we actually started in video just because we liked making videos. There was nothing to do with it being a business or it generating any money for us. We were into YouTube, so we liked making. There's still some stuff floating around on the web. We got new accounts. I can't let my clients see what we were up to back then because it's embarrassing and probably offensive. But we liked making videos for fun, and I was more into getting into radio. But we once had this idea to do this documentary, and it was about the Jewish Community Center here in Toronto, which I think is the funniest place on earth. Aside from it being important to a lot of people, there's just a lot of humor in that place. A bunch of senior citizens all hang out, always naked for some reason. They play pool naked, they hang out, they've known each other for 60 years, they have crazy stories, they all seem to hate each other and love each other. We thought it was just a fantastic idea for a documentary, if you could censor out there, below the belt. So we used to go to Jewish film festivals and talk about this concept, and we had a little one-pager for it, and someone took active interest in it, saying this is a great idea, and I want to help you get this thing made. And we ended up getting a grant to get this movie underway, and it was for $5,000. And I remember being so excited and being so passionate about telling this story about the Jewish Community Center that We said, with this money, we can hire real camera people because we have no idea what we're doing. And then with that, I mean, to us, it was the biggest thing in the world. It was going to be a movie that's going to go all around the world. Everyone's going to love it. So we went on Craigslist or something. I don't remember where we found this guy. We found this seasoned camera guy who's going to be a part of this. And we thought having him would be like adding fuel to the fire, and we'll be off to the races making this amazingly hilarious documentary. Well, this guy shows up, and he's like 45, 50 years old, had a big beer belly, and he didn't give a shit about this movie, which was a surprise to me. I'm thinking in my head, how could you not care? It's so good. He's the kind of guy that maybe after he was just waiting for his $250 or whatever we were paying him, so he can go to the strip club and get a bucket of Coronas and maybe a lap dance or two. But completely sucked the energy out of the shoot. It was horrible. So with our remaining money from the $5,000, we said, we're going to do this on our own. Screw this guy. So we got a camera, a Canon XH-A1, and we got some editing software. And we had a little extra money. We had to save up a bit, get a computer. There it is. That was sort of the start of it. We had an editing software, a computer, and a camera. But we had no money. So this is when we started freelancing, putting ads on Craigslist, taking whatever gig we could get. We'd go to universities to help make student documentaries and get $100 for that. We would do lots of stuff at nightclubs because nightclubs do promo, and we'd be in and out of that. And I think what was, I guess, the early foundation of what allowed us to grow was that we cared so much, because I think that's the respect that we hoped that we would receive when we hired that guy to do our documentary. So whether it was a documentary about George Brown or who's, I don't even know who he is. He's a Canadian Prime Minister, I think. I don't remember. It was a long time ago we shot that. Or we do a nightclub promo. We would give it our all. And we didn't have a lot of experience shooting, and we didn't have a lot of experience editing. But what we would do after I came back from the radio station and back from school and back to Boston Pizza is we would crank it all night. And we'd spend insane amount of hours trying to make this thing great and developing new skills. But we also learned what we were really weak at. So we would go way over the top, spending more hours than most people would commit, and really caring about making sure people were updated and that we were delivering on time and that everything was great and good. And that enthusiasm gave us the next gig, because that club promo we did, they said, okay, you come back the next day. Can you, my friend needs video and you guys have to do it, because I guess they liked us and they appreciated how hard we worked. And that's still a foundation of who we are today. I mean, caring is, I think, number one. I think it's more important than how talented you are even. It's, if someone hires you, or if you hire someone, all you really want is them to care. Because everything else comes after that. So we'd get another gig and another gig and another gig. And I used to tell the people at Boston Pizza, I'd say, I have all these video gigs that are coming in, and I'm really enjoying it. Because we love making videos, and we didn't care if it was a client job or our own fun YouTube video. We just enjoyed the process of learning. And I'd always get, I'd make my schedule after I knew what video projects I could work on, and they'd always accommodate that. And I remember one day I got a call that said, there's this really cool project. I don't even remember what it is, but I said to my boss at the pizza restaurant, I said, I really need to take this gig. But the thing is, tonight, and I'm on the schedule. I said, it's Friday, I can't let you do it. I'm like, no, you don't understand it. This is going to be my future. I need you to. Please. Like, sorry, you have to work. I said, all right, I quit. And I left. And all of a sudden, I'm stuck in this career. I mean, it was my job. I wasn't a career yet. It was my job. But now I'm hustling videos. So I figured I have more time now to do this. Not really going to make enough money. I was still living with my mom at the time. But I'm gonna bust my ass and do this. So with great customer service, one project led to another, led to another, led to another. Got to our first corporate gig. And it was not through my own connection. It was through someone else who I already worked with. He said, Dan, I want to hook you up with a job with GE, and I think that they need your services. Now, I'll get you more money for this than you're used to getting, but I want you to pay me 20% or 30% or whatever he said. I said, absolutely. Work is work. If you hook it up, you can take your cut, absolutely. So we go in to meet with GE, and I remember my business partner Justin was wearing ripped jeans, and we don't know how to conduct ourselves in front of the corporate types. It was the first time ever meeting one. And I guess they trusted us enough to give us this little project, and it paid $3,000. And that was by far and large more money than we were used to getting for any video project at the time. But the best part about it was we got home, started it, and before dinner we finished it. And I couldn't believe my mind. I'm thinking, holy shit, we just made $3,000 before dinner, whereas last week we'd be up for 2 weeks cranking overnight for it would end up being 50 cents an hour. So at that point we realized, wow, there's some good money you can make in this industry. Because these corporations just pump it out like it's nothing. So at that point we're like, okay, we're going to start a business, we're going to get this client. Like, I know that money exists now, I'm getting more of that money. Because I don't care where it comes from, as long as we're working, we're happy, but we might as well make more money doing it. So that was really the start of it. And to this day, all we ever cared about was how happy we can make the clients. And if you make that the foundation of everything you do, it all blossoms from there. So we just started getting more and more and more projects out of my mom's basement. And at one point it became embarrassing to, dodge meetings at our own office because, my mom would be like making blintzes and cabbage rolls upstairs. So we said, okay, we gotta up our game, and we saved up a bit of money from our gigs, bit the bullet, moved right into the heart of the city, and gave ourselves, I think, 3 months of life. If we couldn't manage our first time having overhead, we would die. But there's something great in that, because if you put yourself in a position where you're going to die if you don't do this, I don't mean actually die. It's kind of that whole burning the boat philosophy. The warriors, the soldiers come to an island, and they burn their own boats down because they're either dying or they're coming out alive, victorious. So we were downtown. We had to make it work. And that is the second thing that really drove us as a business, understanding that when you have to make things work, you're going to. So we're always been trying to push the envelope and put ourselves into situations where there's no turning back. And ever since then, never losing our passion for what we do, always trying to make the product the best we can, which continue to grow. And now we're in a new great studio space in the heart of the city. And we have, I think, 15 Fortune 500 clients at this point. And we're starting to get work in the States, so we're coming down. We're coming down for you.
Coming to take our business.
Oh, I'm going to come work with you. That's the thing.
Oh, good. See, that's the attitude, people, right there. That's the attitude. We work together, not against. Well, man, that's a great story. And I know a lot of people are wondering because there's a lot of meat still inside of that, and I think that the basic principles obviously apply to the fact that you do amazing work, you care about people, and doors will open. You pour your heart and soul into it. That's how I've built my business. Let's talk a little bit about, Chris alluded to it right beforehand. I'd love to know a little bit more about your approach to getting these specific type of clients that you're acquiring, these Fortune 500 clients, and what is some of that strategy? And are you still kind of, we always talk, be you, be who you are. Don't fake being someone you're not. So do you still show up kind of casual to meet these big executives or these big people at these Fortune 500 companies, and how are you connecting with these people? Let's see if we can get into that a little bit. I know everybody will find that interesting.
Yeah, I think that there's an art to how you present yourself to certain people, and I think that someone who's very formal in their attire, if you come in a hoodie, they might look at you and not be able to see eye to eye. And I don't have a good answer for that because I battle with this all the time. Now, we've been very good at being ourselves, and we've also been very fortunate that usually we go into a situation where our reputation precedes us. So people already feel you have to they're already here. You have to work with these guys, and they're great. And if I'm meeting someone for the first time, I try to conduct myself a little bit more professionally, and over time, I'll end up there in the future. Because, I think that there's something to say about proving yourself that you take that first impression seriously. Because you don't have to always fake who you are or act differently. But I think when you meet someone by email for the first time, or the first phone call, or the first time you meet them, I think being a little bit formal. It's like if I email, for example, it's great to meet you. I'm excited about this. Instead of saying, hey, what's up? Don't think, who is this guy? Like, does he not care? So I think caring is being able to conduct yourself in that manner, but not thinking who you are doesn't have anything to do with caring, right?
Right.
So I just think, honestly, you just have to, one of our core values here is that everyone is the center of their own universe, so treat them that way. So whenever we email someone, whenever we get on the phone with someone, whenever we shoot with someone, I just really try to understand that to them, they're the only person in the world that matters. I mean, they may care about their kids and their friends. They really do care for themselves the most. And respect that and be really respectful of that individual. And we're so serious about that. And that crosses everything that we do. That's why, we have never missed a deadline in the years that we've been doing this. And if we have, it was caught a week prior. Say something has come up because you haven't provided this, and we're still waiting, or in nice words, we'll always let them know that we're going to be responsible for our commitments. And that's huge. That's more than the quality of video. Because to be honest, we see stuff, we'll have conversations where we look at something, I know that we did a good job for that, but the details, the other people that are working post will say, wow, this sucks. This is crap. And I say, no, it's great because that's what they're going for. But maybe this one little thing, some of us actually think it's so crap, it stands out. Clients never know. I mean, if you actually give them just crap, like here's a big piece of crap, and it's an insult, that's one thing. But little details, especially for the world of web content, clients never know the difference. They don't know anything, really. So what they care about is, what are the results? Did you meet the objectives? Was it a pleasure to work with you? How was the experience? The experience is a much more valuable product than the video that you send them. I'm convinced 100%.
Well, I have another thing that we talked about before here, and then I actually have one of my people, I accidentally locked them out, so as soon as I ask this, I'm going to be going for like a minute, and I'll be right back.
Sure.
But I'm interested for everybody out there, you started this in the quote-unquote heart of the recession, the bad economy that everybody talks about on a daily basis. I can't get any work. There's nothing. Nobody's hiring anybody. All this stuff, and we talked a little bit ahead of time about that. So talk about that. And talk about your thoughts on that. In what we kind of talked about. So.
Sure. The recession did happen. So I heard. I saw in the news. But we started a business in the heart of it, in the eye of the storm. And believe it or not, we didn't even talk about it. We didn't talk about it for not even once. It never came up in a conversation between my business partner and the crew that we work with. It just wasn't a topic of interest. And I think it was because we were so busy with work. Sorry, you're right. You told me that some of the comments on the side would distract me, and they would, so now I got to blur them out. Just tell me to stop talking. I'm here to talk.
She's being crazy. She's out.
Get out of here, Jessica. No one likes you.
That's right. All right, she's gone.
Okay. So where was I? Oh yeah. So we never even spoke about the recession at all, and that allowed us to focus on things like being great suppliers to our clients, learning our craft, working on our website, going to events, meeting new people. That stuff filled our head more than the recession. So sometimes I think about people that are saying, oh, and the recession, no one's spending money and this and that. I look back at companies that started around the same time as ours, and some that don't exist today, and some that are just make us look like little babies because they've blown up so much. You'll see that people that have blown up and have done great work and done great things weren't really fixated on the recession. And I can't help but think it's a big excuse. I mean, if you're a startup or a small shop, or you're in an industry that is changing day by day, people don't even know what this industry is because the internet is changing it so fast. What does the recession have to do with anything? I understand if you're in the banking industry and you have, if 0.5% of people are spending 5% less per year, that could amount to millions of dollars and change your share value. That's something the recession affects. But a videographer, what the hell is the recession doing to you? Go out there, be in people's space, be loud, do great work, care about what you do, and there's nowhere, I think that's what you said, there's nowhere to go but up. Recession won't even be a factor.
So what are some of, yeah, absolutely. We talk a lot with our members about, it's sort of, I sent Michael an email earlier today when he sent the email out. I said, want to get business with Fortune 500s? And of course, before I even realized it was an email coming from us, I was like going, wow, look at that subject line. Let me open it and look at it, because so many of the people in our business, that's what we want, is that big corporate client. And I've got several. I think I work with 9 Fortune 500s. There's not that many in this area. And the cool thing is that people think that it's like they're kind of this untouchable, massive monster corporations that you're not going to be able to get in the door with. And what I love about your story is it's like you were just doing the things that you thought was right and ethical, and you had passion. And, I tell Michael and the members all the time, it's amazing how after all these years of being in the business, doing what you say you're going to do every time is still a competitive advantage. I mean, I get accounts all the time because the other production company just stopped delivering because they got comfortable. How do you guys avoid sort of getting complacent? Because let's say you've got that big corporate client, you're making, a couple $100,000 a year off of one client. How do you guys keep impressing and amazing them every single time without kind of settling into that lull that sort of makes you think, okay, this client is set. I don't have to worry about them as much. Let me go find the next client, and then that's how you get into trouble. So how do you guys deal with that kind of stuff? You don't want to answer it. He's gone.
Oh, no.
We got a spotty Spreecast today, man. Is he back? Back. There he is. He's back.
Did I disappear?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. How do I sound, okay? I didn't look at my little phone thing. That'll make my sound better. So I think that once you identify who those clients are that spend the most money, if that is, in your opinion, when you think you should get comfortable, then you are a moron. Because those are the people that are giving you lots of money. And you know that. So treat them as such. Buy them a freaking iPad. I don't know. They're gold, right? I mean, we have clients that continue to give work, and I'm just like, I thank them. I say, thank you. Thank you for consistently, giving us your vote of confidence, and I appreciate it so much. And I really do buy them like a gift to show, try to do what I can to show appreciation. And that's not just that's partially because it's smart business, and partially because I'm actually grateful, because those guys have been great to me and great to us. So never ever get comfortable with your clients, because someone else will work harder than you will for their money and for their time. And I think ultimately what allowed us to get in with some of these brands is, again, I keep going back to that whole factor of caring, but it's relentless. I care, but they get value. And when we work out a contract, I never, ever try to get them with their pants down. I'm very transparent. Transparent when they understand that we're a business, and you know, if they don't have the budget to do what they want to do, they understand. I'll be very clear with them. But once I'm done, I really communicate that we're really going to do our best for you and this and that, and I show how much I care and blah, 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 blah. It goes to my business partner, Justin, who usually leads the creative. He cares just as much as I do. So on set, like, to make sure that he's listening to what they need. And it's never, for us, it's never been about taking the order and filling it. Like, it's, if they need video, we don't treat, I find a lot of videographers, they need to know, okay, what do you need from me, and I'll do it, and I'll do it well. With us, we want to really get to the core of what they're asking us for, contribute to the thinking, go above and beyond. And I think that we have a lot of insights because we're active on the internet, and a lot of this is web content. So we can ask questions, well, why is this like this, and have you considered this, and help them out and be involved. And I can give you a good little story that shows Justin's side of things and how he demonstrates how much he cares. He's someone that hates the fashion industry with a passion. Like, we'll go and we'll see like fashion TV up on some display screen somewhere, and we just rip on how, I don't know, like I look at the people in the fashion industry, I wonder, like, do they realize how ridiculous this whole thing is? And we think it's just hilarious. And we ripped on it for years and years, and all of a sudden we get this project, which is totally to make a fashion video. And you can't pick worse people or people who care less. In fact, I think the entire industry is like a comedy scene, and it's like here to like mess with my head. But we had to do some fashion videos. And the second we got that project, Justin's, I guess, sense of disdain for fashion off. And he's watching fashion TV. He's Googling about Alexander McQueen and Marc Jacobs and all these people. And he's absorbing himself in this. Because what? Because the person who hired us to do that is already absorbed in it. It's not a joke to them. So he, with all seriousness and with a serious tone, takes it on as this is my shit right now. And exudes through everything he does. And people know that. And I think that a lot of people that do video, they'll mail it in at night. Well, it's just never going to work that way. If you want to be great at anything, just always remember that if you're not going to keep it on in your head and always think about how you could be excellent at every step of the way, from start to finish, someone else will do it. Someone else will care that much. So it's not going to be used to be someone else. And we consume ourselves with our work. And we love it. It's fun.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Well, you had talked in the chat to me a couple days ago about how that you hustle more now than you hustled in the beginning to sustain what you're doing, to grow. And I think that's something, again, to kind of Chris's point, sometimes we become complacent. Sometimes we just go, I can go into autopilot. But for you, I sense all in or all out. I mean, talk to that for a minute. I mean, you've been kind of, alluding to that, but just talk on that fact for a minute. And guys, real quick too, before you do say that, there's a lot of people still in guest mode. If you guys are curious about what's going on, we've got Daniel Demsky from BizMedia on here. We're a show for video professionals, usually talking the business side of things, not tech, to help your business as a video professional grow. So appreciate you guys being on here. We're going to take your questions here really soon. Be sure to get those in. You submit a question box right below Chris. And if you're in guest mode, you're going to have to log in via Facebook or Twitter. When you do that, you'll be ready to rock and roll. So we're going to keep moving. We got about a half hour-ish left. But get your questions in, and we're going to take your questions here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So, yeah, just talk about the hustle and the hard work, my man.
Yeah, you don't always have to hustle, but again, you'll get left in the dust. I remember I keep going every time I tell the story. I talk about people who started businesses at the same time as when I did. I think back a few years ago, and a couple companies that were starting, and we were just starting, and they hadn't really taken off. I remember they'd work throughout the week, and they would bust their ass, and then on Friday night, you know, they'd go on party or whatever they would do. And for me, I'm like, I don't earn the right to party yet, because I'm trying to get out of my mom's basement. So I'd hustle and hustle, but it was not a lot for me to. There's not a lot for me to really try to accomplish, because we would maybe have a couple active projects at a time, max. So but the thing is, every time we get a little bit of money in, you know, I'd be at that nightclub or wherever I was, and I realized, man, we got really crummy footage because there wasn't enough light in there, and maybe we get that camera top light or whatever it was that next thing to make us a little better. That was all I focused my energy on. And social life, and people always say, like, you have to have a social life too. You can have a social life in your work. The thing is, I just chose, like, if there was no value in my relationship with the person that I was hanging out with to my own livelihood, I would respectfully just not do it. And I would tell them why. People say, oh, come to we'll go, you never see you anymore, come to this party or whatever. I go, no, I don't want to. And they'd say, well, you never come out. I don't want to. I don't want to go to this party or this club or whatever. Keep in mind, you know, this time the friends are still going out partying and clubbing and all that stuff. I just had no interest in any of that. So I think what we would do is we constantly put every ounce of energy and make our social life the people who could help us and mentor us. But we only had a couple projects. So the end game of actually delivering on what we needed to do was a pretty simple concept. Now, fast forward years later, you know, the people who would need that social life. And social life to them is, I don't want to do this thing right now because it's not, like, I never understood. If you like what you're doing, you could do it on a Friday night and have the time of your life. You could do it on Saturday night and have the time of your life. But do you need to turn it off and go drinking and listening to the worst music on earth? What value is that going to do for you, right? So these guys would actually, I feel it would offset them and put them back in the race a little bit. So now, at the point where we've grown quite a bit, many projects active at any given moment, and what happens is the infrastructure grows, your overhead grows, and all of a sudden you need to learn how to manage this business. These are, like, managing a business was nothing I needed to know in the basement. I need to know how to be nice and care about stuff. All of a sudden, we have to learn how to manage a business. So it took us a couple of years to find our groove and say, aha, I get it. I understand. I feel now. And I've done everything I could to try to figure out why is it that I can't run this business better. Because as we grow and our clients grow, I just felt like there's always holes that start opening up so rapidly. Like, it's just like, how come we can't manage, like, people, their time? How come I can't get more productivity when we have, like, at one moment I had, like, 18 people working, and I'm like, why does it not feel like there's 18 people, there's my productivity times 18 going on right now. I feel like there's my productivity times 3. Like, what am I doing wrong? So over time, I figured out, and this come from surrounding myself by brilliant entrepreneurs. I joined an entrepreneur organization where you know there's a criteria to get in, or what stage of your business is, and I'm just ask and try to figure out and learn, how can I do this right? I got to the point probably about 3 months ago where I think I know how to focus this business. I know how to manage it, sort of, right now, more so than I ever have before. And I could just go step by step and think I know what I'm doing, or I can take that mission that I put within our company seriously and treat it like it was day one again. So Friday night, Saturday night, I don't do anything that doesn't benefit the business, which is okay because I can still have tons and tons of fun. But you have to be willing to make it your entire life if you want to run a successful business. If you want to be a guy that might get some gigs here and there and mail it in at night and turn off so that you can just drink some beer and not care, that's fine. And if you care about what you do when you're working, you'll be great. People like me will hire you because we need people who care when they can turn it on. But if you want to take it to the next level, turning it off is a mistake. And that's, you know, I mean, I won't go out and get drunk. I mean, actually, last weekend I went out and got a little drunk, so I'm lying. But I really limit it. Like I really question everything I do and say, like, what's the real value? What can I take from this at all times? And that's a fun discipline to have.
Dude, you're killing it, man. How old are you, if I might ask?
28. 28.
28. Rock and roll, rock and roll. I hope you guys are enjoying this show. Chris, do you have anything else before we go to the questions? I know the questions are going to start piling up here. You guys, if you got questions, get them in right below Chris. Submit a question, and we're going to take your questions here in just a few minutes. And so if you're not logged in and you're in guest mode, log in via Facebook or Twitter. We appreciate you all being on here today. We hope you're enjoying the show, and we'll keep rocking. We're going to keep moving, get as much in as we can. So thanks for everybody for being on.
No, I just love the fact that he hammered the point of, if you want to just be that turn it on, turn it off, you can even be a high paid freelancer, and do really well by the standards of, getting pay as an employee type person, even if it's freelancer. But if you really want to move it to the next level, you certainly have to start learning business, learning how to do all that, and grow a company, as opposed to just, booking yourself completely as an individual. And that's kind of the whole reason we started Create Insights, was to be able to have that capability and teach people how to do that. So it's just really cool. I know he's gone, but I'm going to keep talking because he can probably hear me. It's just been a neat, it's just cool to hear you say that, because a lot of what you're experiencing in your journey is stuff that I experienced, 10 plus years ago when I kind of got into my company and started growing rapidly and picking up big clients and all that stuff. So, did the internet go down in Toronto?
I got him back. Let's see. Refresh. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Every once in a while.
There he is.
Sorry, buddy. Well,
Right.
I do have one more thing out of curiosity. You good, Daniel?
Hello?
Yeah, if you want to just refresh the whole page, I'll cut you off real quick. If you can hear me, refresh.
Hello?
One second, guys. We'll get Dan the Man back. I hope you guys are enjoying this. He's good for a few extra minutes, so we'll make sure we get your questions in here. But yeah, so Create Insights we've got here in the chat and on the screen if you guys want to check that out. That's Chris and I's site, helping video professionals take their business to the next level. That's what we focus on, because we know there's a lot of you guys struggling out here, and that's what this show is all about too. Hopefully we get Dan back. It's so good. Yeah. Let's see here. One sec, guys. Let's see.
I can see his feed when I push his thumbnail, and then when I go to put him on the screen, he doesn't pop up.
Here he comes. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Sorry, guys. Usually these run pretty smooth. Not sure exactly what's happening. Dan, if you hear us, are you in the chat, buddy? If you just blew his YouTube camera. Let's see here. We're going to take him off. Well, while we're waiting here real quick for a second, I mean, the next question that I was going to ask him, that I know we all struggle with, there's that aspect of, there he is again. Let's see, he's in the feed here, but he's not showing up on the camera when we pull him up. So weird. What's happening here? Sorry, guys. Hang with us. I know we haven't lost anybody. You guys are on the freaking edge of your seat here waiting for him to come back. I'm not sure on our end what's going on here. Let's see.
Is there a way to, do you have his number? Can we call him and just put the phone up to the mic or something?
I could possibly attempt that. Hold on. Let's see here. One more time. Refresh the page. I'm going to refresh. No camera. Fasten your seatbelt, guys. Hold on. Let's see here.
This might be the
First
bathroom
time
break that you were looking for, wherever what that was. Oh.
there. Okay. All right.
Sorry, I was taking a shit. No, it wasn't.
Dude, you're efficient.
He is quick.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry
Well,
about
the one final question I had for you real quick, I think, is, well, two actually. If you want to do kind of rapid fire, you've kind of alluded to some of this. One, marketing. Have you done anything besides, I mean, it sounds like to me word of mouth and networking. I mean, that's your main thing. You haven't paid for necessarily any advertising. You just go out there and rock it for your clients and people talk. But just talk for that for 1 second here in regards to your marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually don't do a lot of marketing ourselves in terms of trying to find new clients. Can you hear me? Is everything okay?
You're good.
Okay. So it's all been referral based. And I think one thing that we did that's been very effective for us over the year is to find great partnerships. So we've been 3 years now in partnership with TEDx Toronto because we love TED Talks, and we figured if we can get involved with them, it's great exposure for us. It aligns with, I guess the type of people that we want to be aligned with. It's completely pro bono, and in exchange, they love us. They give us lots of brand presence. And I think that doing free work wherever you can is a great, incredible way to market yourself. And the best thing about doing free work is you have the right to do whatever you want. It's not client work. It's not how you're paying your bills. It's how you're spending your free time. So us aligning with TEDx Toronto, it's a huge time commitment, all the stuff that we do. But we've seen how fruitful it was for us. If we want to help out with another cause, another person, a little business, you could use that time to use your skills, because once you do something free for someone, you have the right to do it how you want to do it. You only take it on if it's something that will contribute to, I guess, your learning, how you want to show yourself in public, the affiliation that you have with that person. I mean, you do stuff with, that's a client of yours, but do you know how much of respect I had for you for doing stuff with Tony Robbins? It's like the coolest thing in the world to me, right? So if you were to use your time, and that's a client thing, but if you're using your time to do free stuff for people, it puts you in the limelight and affiliation with them. So that's been a huge, huge marketing thing for us. And we've always been very, very loud with our stuff. Whenever we do something that we think is cool or we're out in a shoot, we always make sure that we tweet about it and we put it up on Facebook and things like that. Because as long as you constantly remind people that this is what you do and this is who you are, opportunities will come out of that. So I think about all the people in my friend network on Facebook, and I always understand that every time I post that we're doing videos, it's just a reminder to them, this is what we do, and if there's opportunities for us, they will call on us. Because within their network, I'm the best thing that they have. So if they don't know that I do it, they'll never call on me. Make sense?
Perfect, man. That's perfect. I love it. I've utilized free work very effectively to work with some. I mean, I'm going to be at the same event with you up in Toronto because I filmed an event for Tim Ferriss back in 2010. Jason was there. I got to go to film a wedding in the Bahamas last year for Jason, and I got to take my whole family there, and now I'll be up in Toronto rocking with the best because of that. But things.
Yeah, I mean, I said. Yeah, I said to Jason, he said, can you help? I said, do whatever you need.
Exactly.
Whatever you need, because I know, well, first of all, he's a good guy and he's a friend. And second of all, because I know he's a crazy hustler. And I know if I get involved in his thing, I'm going to get pulled into something crazy. And who did he bring onto his roster? Mark Echo, Tim Ferriss, Ryan Holiday. And I'm going to be rubbing shoulders with these dudes. I have people bang my door down to try to figure out how I get them tickets. I can't do it. I can't. Like, I wish I could, but I can't. And all I did is say, hey, I'll help you out, Jason.
Exactly. Well, and the reality that sometimes guys forget too is you've got to be in this for the long haul, because I've had opportunities that have come up now from people I met 3, 4, 5 years ago, and nothing happened in that entire time frame besides meeting them, building a relationship. No dollars were ever exchanged. You know, we might have touched base a few times, and now it's time that we get to work together. And whether it's free, whether it's paid or whatever, that's how you've got to be in it for the long haul. But we've got 15 minutes left. I want to be cognizant of your time. I know you say a little bit extra, but the questions are pouring in. So, Chris, if you want to go with that, and guys, if you want to get those in, submit them right below Daniel there. Submit a question. If you're not logged in, use Facebook or Twitter. Expert Interrogations here with Daniel Demsky of BizMedia. And so we welcome you all, and we hope you're enjoying the show.
All right, so first question, I believe, is from Sheik. Sheik, I hope I said your name right there, buddy. How are we going to deal with how do we deal with the newcomer in the market, a market where people don't invest much on marketing?
They don't? I think that's completely untrue. They may not spend as much on direct-to-home print ads. They may not be putting their ads in the yellow pages anymore, but they do spend money on marketing. There's tons of money in marketing, and in fact, if you go on ComScore, now I'm only talking about video content and online video, inbound marketing kind of stuff, but if you look at the figures, I mean, it's going up like rapidly, the budgets that are being allotted to this stuff. I think that your concern should be less about how much money is being spent on marketing, but how are you going to carve a way in to get a piece of that budget, because it's growing very, very rapidly.
The fastest way for somebody to get you out of their office because you haven't done a good job of convincing them that what you do is worth their time and money is to tell you that they don't have the budget. I mean, so it's just, to me, when somebody says they don't have the budget and I know that they're the right size company and I've worked with other companies like them, I know they're full of shit, and I know that I just need to kind of reset and figure out another approach so that I can come back and try again. I mean, Sheik, the money's there, man.
A budget is something that someone's boss gave them. So here's your playground of what you could spend, and that's from their boss gave that to them. Their boss gave that to them. There's always a way to increase budgets. They could borrow from another fund here, this and that. It's just an objection. It's not a roadblock altogether. We were pitching on a project 2 months ago, 2.5, 3 months ago, and what they were planning on spending was like $25,000. What we wanted to do, and this is us pulling back, would have cost $125,000. And we sat there, and I think that they said their max budget for it was $50K. And maybe you're wrong, or something like that. So one company was going to do it for $25K. They said their max budget was $50K. And we went in there and said, what we're going to do is going to cost $125K. But we did so much thinking to why they should spend this $125K. So much. And we outlined every day going forward what the production process is going to be, what they were going to get, and why this is important. And they looked and they sat there and they're like, I don't know how we're going to get this money. How do we get this money? How do we do it? Then they figured out how they're going to get the money, and we closed it. So the company that we peed out apparently got really pissed because we took their business. We also got $100K more than them on the same project. So if that's not proof enough that more budgets can exist, then I don't know what is.
All right. Question from Ken White. How do you keep your foot in the door when your contacts leave the company? This is how I usually lose accounts. This is an awesome question. Awesome question.
I think that sometimes if you only have one contact in a company, then that could be a little bit of a situation. But usually if you work with lots of different people in a company, if you have that presence of caring every step along the way, usually you're going to, that creative director or that marketing director who brought you in is not going to be working with you the whole way through. You're going to end up with an account executive. And that account executive may come across their accounts payable person. And if you cultivate relationships and just be really cool and awesome and really caring with all of these people, it's not that hard to cultivate a few more relationships. So I always love it when a client of ours leaves the company, because the way I look at that is they're going when they're planting a seed in a new building. Hopefully, I've created enough relationships in that company before, that you can continue to do business with them. And I've seen it many times too. You just have to have great results, make sure everyone's happy, ask lots of questions, get in their face but not be annoying, and build relationships that go beyond that one person, because then leaving the company is the best thing that could ever happen.
Divide and conquer, man. When I get my foot in the door at a big company, I want to just spread like a virus, you know? I mean, it just infect as many people with my awesomeness as possible, you know? And then, because like you said, if that contact goes to another big company, awesome. Now you've got a foot in the door over there, and you're going to keep doing work for the company that you just had. And it's so cool when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I said we're coming down to do some projects in the States. That's only because people I know from here that we've done great work with, they're down there. They're able to. It's not easy for me to go into New York City and say, this is who we are, this is what we do. Who are you? I don't care. But when someone is in the building saying, you've got to see these guys, this is what they do, and this is the results we've had with them, all of a sudden you're warm. So now we're doing all these projects that are coming up in the States, just something that we've wanted to do for years, and it's really exciting for us.
Awesome. All right, so we got Mauro. What do you think about Publicity 2.0, meaning YouTube publicity or such?
I think it's. I mean, I know people who've done insanely amazing things on YouTube. I don't think it's for everyone. Meaning, I don't think anyone be capable of being a great YouTube personality. I think that ultimately what you have to think of first in regards to YouTube is how could you be of incredible value to people who might be interested in whatever it is that you're making videos about. So I don't know if you're into motorcycles and you've made an amazing channel that showed really cool custom-built motorcycles, or if you're into marathon running, if you created a really great channel about, you know, how to take the right juice and nutrition and how to pace yourself properly through marathons and what the proper running gait that you need. If you could deliver really good, compelling content that's produced well, and you have the right personality that people want to, I guess, relate to you, then it could be great. But most people, I think, start these YouTube channels, especially in the comedy world, and it's just so brutal. And I don't know what they need to see for them to understand. But not you. You're not going to be that next YouTube channel. But I think the first things first is to be able to create lots and lots of great value. A friend of mine, he said the best personality for YouTube is the perfect 8. It's someone he says a perfect 8, meaning they're an 8 out of 10 in terms of their looks. Because a 10 out of 10 would be they're too good looking and they're intimidating. But you need to be kind of good looking. People want to look at you. They don't want to see some like average schmo like me going on there and talking and think, oh, I love him, he's great. Like, you know Luxy Hair. Look at Alex and Mimi. They're just like great looking couple. It's like romantic looking at them. They're young and in love. I mean, they don't look like Brad and Angelina, but they're a couple notches up. They're almost there. So people just eat up everything there is about them. So I think you're treading risky waters if you want to be a YouTube celebrity, but man, if you are, the power of that is enormous. I like relating to YouTube celebrities and getting to know them and understanding how much power they have, but I personally don't think myself I could ever be one. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm saying that is the reason I can't, but I just don't think it's for everyone.
So I think he was talking about too. It was great insight, but I think maybe he was talking about using kind of advertising, using YouTube to promote your company, or either the advertising on YouTube or using it as a marketing tool for your production company, and not necessarily where you are the personality, but you're just trying to use that tool to build the business.
So do you mean in terms of pre-roll ads and things like that?
I think that's part of it. I think he's just maybe just kind of big picture. Are you using tools like social media or YouTube to promote your company, and if so, how are you doing that?
Oh, for us, see, we're not good with marketing ourselves. We usually, and that's a big push. It's something we're going to continue to do. I think companies should. And to be honest, I'm pretty embarrassed that we don't do it for ourselves because we should. And I think that there's a lot of value that we can create and that any company can create. And I think that it should be top of mind on what they can contribute to YouTube to make great stuff that people that they're trying to target might be interested in. And it's unbelievable for SEO, the SEO implications. There's a huge community there, 100%. In terms of pre-roll ads, I think it's just an extension of the old methodology of traditional marketing. You used to be able to make a TV spot and buy some time on TV. Now you can do that on YouTube pre-roll and display ads and things like that, and it's way cheaper, way more targeted. So I think there's a huge advantage in that, especially in Canada, because we watch per capita the most online video of any country in the world, but we don't spend a lot of money on actual paid advertising. So it's really cheap to do so. So we do that with our clients. So we have a video that we did with Maynard's, and there was an ad spend on it, bought the first few 100,000 views, and after that people love it and they're sharing it and it's popping up everywhere. I think if you, especially for branded content, if you're going to put the video forcefully in front of people, it's a good idea, as long as it's not crap. People love the Maynard's video we did because it was comedy and it was actually really funny. And if you look at the comments and the upvotes, like, people really enjoyed it. So I think it's a great tactic for spending money to get in front of people's faces because it's so targeted.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Okay, he's got a quick follow-up. Says, any other advice or a tip for the ones that are starting in this business, just getting started?
I think that you have to take every project and look at it as an opportunity to learn something new. So when we first started and we were making our silly videos, we never thought that, man, I really want to do videos for the Toronto Financial Services Alliance. But they ended up being a client of ours, and as soon as we did, we looked at it as an opportunity to figure out, well, how do we need to communicate to their audience? So getting involved in that thought process about what is the language that this audience speaks and doing our best to be able to cater to that was a learning opportunity for us. And then we moved on to the fashion thing, like I said, or, you know, it could be a candy company. And every project is like getting paid to go to school. So take it incredibly seriously. Read and study as much as you can. I used to shoot. I haven't shot a video or edited in years. Last time I used the camera at BizMedia, we were using HDD tapes before DSLR even became a huge thing, and I haven't touched it since. So what I was doing was Justin and I sort of split roles. I sort of said, well, we need to get more of those GE-like clients. I need to learn sales. So I read like every sales book I could figure out. I need to learn how to sell this stuff. I need to learn how to build the business end of things. So I think what you need to do is figure out what holes you have in your own business currently or in your own direction and just make them advantages. Like anything you suck at, just find someone that will make you good at it or get good at it yourself by studying, because sales is not like, people say, oh, he's a natural salesperson. That's cool, like you could learn it. Anything could be learned. It's like a business skill like that. So I would just study, and take everything as a learning experience and take it seriously.
Great advice, man. Great advice. Okay, so this question, let's see. I know we've touched on this some, so if you want to just kind of give a sort of just a first instinct answer, how does one get Fortune 500 clients if you don't have a referral?
I think that you can, okay, this is something I've been doing recently. I've never done this before. I think I've got to a point where if I could sit down for an hour with the person and do a little credentials presentation, I could really wow them. And I think that because I feel that, I want to just be in front of as many people as possible. So I've started, and I literally started this 2-3 weeks ago for the first time ever, messaging people on LinkedIn. And I make a goal to message 10 a week usually, and I've identified who spent the most money over the years on BizMedia, and may put them in a list. So marketing directors and brand managers are usually our way into a client relationship. So I find marketing directors and brand managers, and I just message them and say, I have a really cool idea for this brand. And usually I think of a little idea. I'd love to show you a bit about what we do. Maybe there's some synergy there. And I think I've sent about 30 to 40 of them now. 2 responded. We did a presentation. I'm just thinking, man, that could be just an enormous amount of business. So I think that if you just reach out to them, you might be able to have an opportunity, but I think more so, you just got to get out there wherever you can. We started doing it just on Twitter, Facebook, and get in with agencies because they can bring you to brands, and you can work with them in partnership on brands, and just do great work. I think without a referral, it's a lot harder, but if your work is good enough to justify it, you can just ask for a meeting. And if you have a great portfolio, a great reputation, if you have someone that can connect to that person, just go knock it out of the park in a presentation. That's it. I'm actually amazed that I got presentations from just cold asking on LinkedIn, but it's working. So I'm now never going to stop doing that. 10 a week.
I love it.
All right.
I love it.
So let's see. Rodolphe, his question is, how can I prove the clients that I'm worthy of the price I'm asking? I'm a pretty young guy, and sometimes I feel that my great work isn't enough to make bigger clients take me seriously. How can I reassure that I'm a good investment?
The onus is on you to prove it. I think that I learned from reading sales books to be able to prove value is something that I thought was a really big challenge. And I used to get really, really apprehensive about asking for money that was in the thousands because I would question, well, it's so much money. Like, can I ask for this? Is it okay to ask for this? And then I thought of, I think I was in IKEA, and I asked what the cost of some table was. And if you go into IKEA and you ask them what the cost of a table is, they're not going to be like, well, you know, it's like, it's made of wood, it's good quality wood, it's $200. No, they say that's $199. They don't care, that's just the price, right? So trying to act like the IKEA sales guy was something for me was a huge thing. I said, I figured out what things cost. I'm always fair when we quote people out, but if I were to tell people this is what something costs and this is how much it costs, you know, for a day of shoot or this and that, I always in my head said, be the IKEA guy. Be the IKEA guy. Just tell them what it costs. And what's the worst that's going to happen? They'll tell you it's too much money. It happens all the time. They tell you it's too much money, and then you can try to justify why it costs what it costs. And if you're not ripping them off and you're being fair, then you should be able to have a good case for it. But I think if you study sales books, you'll get a great understanding of learning how to demonstrate value with your words and being able to back it up. But never be afraid of what you're worth. Just be like really bold. And usually what I do is I always, people like negotiating, so I'll always make sure that I'm not trying to make the price sound a little more palatable by bringing it down a little bit. I just tell them outright, you know, that costs $10,000, that costs $20,000 or whatever, and I explain why. And if they have a problem with the budget, if you can work it back a bit, that's fine. But don't undersell yourself and then have to work it back even more to the point where you're burning yourself out and not having any reward at the end.
Great answers here, man. Great answers. We know we got no more questions, guys. We've got about 7 left. I believe he said he's good, so we're going to finish these out, and we're going to let him be on his way. We want to be cognizant of his time. He's a busy man. We appreciate him taking the time for you guys today to answer your questions and help us out, man. You've been awesome. So we're going to finish these out, and appreciate it.
All right, so Richard has a question. He says, what's that critical moment in the process of winning a new profitable client, winning some new business?
What's a critical moment in the process of winning?
Yeah, maybe like in the sales process. I mean, kind of when is it that point where, you know, they presented you with this and you overcame it by whatever, and then that kind of turns it in your favor, and then it ends up, I mean, you've talked about your presentation, but maybe it could be more of, I don't know, I guess for me, like in my process, you know, the biggest question I ask people, and that seems to be if I notice that a sales meeting, if I'm losing them, right? If they're engaged, but it's something I've said or done is just not matching up, I'll kind of reset the room by asking the question. So I want you to think about the most amazing result for this project and tell me what's it going to take for this to be an absolute grand slam. And then as soon as they give me that information, that has given me all the sound bites I need for the rest of the meeting to close that damn thing. I mean, that's the turning point for me. I mean, what's kind of that magic moment in some of your presentations, even if it's just in your prepared presentation, that kind of helps that client turn the corner?
Well, first of all, that's a great question that you ask your clients or your prospects in a meeting. I think a pivotal moment for us is when we can articulate or demonstrate the level of preparedness that we can have going into something. I think that's what wins us when we're bidding against other people. And keep in mind, because of a lot of our relationships that are really tight, we're a lot of the time not even bidding against people. We're just working on a new project with them and figuring out what it will cost and carving the budget with them. But in the event where we're pitching against other companies, I think what's allowed us to win, those times I know that this is what we're going to win, is when they realize that we've done more thinking in advance, not just saying, okay, this is what it costs and this is what you need. I mean, I'm figuring out, I'm asking lots of questions. I get it so thoroughly. And then one thing we've done that's been huge for us is we show them what every day going forward is going to look like. So build these timelines out. You know, you're going to, at this, you're going to sign off, and you're going to give us all the great assets on this day. We're going to get this to you on this day, and just build it out. And then I just think about the other companies, and they say, this is what it costs or whatever. I sometimes know when we are just doing way more than the people next to us. So they might be way cheaper than we are, but we've given a feeling of confidence that every step ahead is going to be just smooth sailing. And there's no gray area. This is what we're committing to. This is how the engine is going to start, and this is how it's going to be in motion. So when we can give them that level of confidence, and also we slip in there testimonial videos from other clients that have worked with us, which is huge. If I'm ever around a really good client, a big client, they're saying, you guys are great, and now, oh yeah, can you say an iPhone video for me? That's actually, I lied, I do some shooting. I shoot iPhone videos of our clients saying, this is, you know, I have the brand manager of Coke Zero saying, working with BizMedia is the benchmark of how you should work with a video agency. And then I go to a brand manager and say, well, this guy's a brand manager for Coca-Cola, the most valuable brand, or one of the most valuable brands, the most recognizable brand in the world, saying this about us. So that's when it gives them the confidence and seeing all those steps. So just demonstrating preparedness is huge.
So real quick before the next question, so when you get those little testimonials, and you might have just answered, I was doing a couple things, but where are you using those? Where are you putting them on your site? Are you literally taking them in a presentation and popping them out?
I put them in a presentation, like so oftentimes in a deck. Sorry, I'm tying my shoes. I don't want to untie. I put it in a deck probably after we showed a little bit about some of our thinking and some of our examples, and then I think after that, they said, this looks really good. And this is really great thinking. That's a really great video. It's a really great project. But once I showed them enough of the actual material, I use those testimonials, the one that will be most fitting, so that it validates everything I just said before. So I usually just show them in person. I don't throw them up on our website or anything.
Is it just you on a meeting? A couple rapid fire things for me real quick. Is it just you in a meeting typically, or is your partner there too?
If it's really early, it'll just be me. If I feel like we're actually going to be working on something or I have reason to believe, I'll bring Justin, maybe a couple other guys, depending on who needs to be there to contribute thinking or that needs to be there to hear things about the project that will ultimately make the work better.
And are they all your age? Are you all kind of pretty much friends? Or is there anybody specific?
Yeah, I mean, my business partner I've been best friends with since junior kindergarten. And another partner and my our lead guy Andrew, I've been, pretty much best friends with him since the 4th grade. I've worked every job with him. I mean, we worked at the movie theater, the grocery store, the pizza place. So it's kind of like a family here.
Sweet.
Which is a great thing, sometimes a bad thing.
And one last thing, how long does your average meeting for everybody last? How long? I mean, not a meeting, but presentation, like the presentation that you'll give. Is it the same, or are you taking this client is this, so I want to show this work to them? Just a couple things I'm thinking that'll be really beneficial for people. Just rapid fire there.
Usually when I'm meeting, if I'm going out for dinner or someone I'm really comfortable with, it could be like a conversation would be really long, hours. But like I always try to keep everything within an hour out of respect for someone's time. I don't know how they scheduled me in, so usually I'll have 30 minutes to 40 minutes of presentation, leave a little bit of room for questions, and that's it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Jason Kennard, what's up, buddy? Thanks for being on the call.
All right, that was a question about submitting a question, so we'll get rid of that. All right, so Jamal, what's happening, Jamal? Jamal's one of our insider coaching members. Thanks for submitting the question. He says, can you speak on the qualities you look for when you're selecting your team?
Yeah, I figured out how we do this very recently. It took me a while. But I think it was important for us to identify what we would stand for, our core values. And I mentioned a couple of them. One is everyone's the center of their own universe, so treat them that way. And I think if people can't align with us on what our core values are, then there would be a great fit on our team. Figure it out is one of our core values. Like, just if something's a challenge, just aggressively do what you can to figure it out, whatever that thing is. Google it and do the work and do the grind. I think having core values written down, at first, for years, I probably thought it was the cheesiest thing. But someone taught me that it's so pivotal, so important. And I agree 100%. So I think it's a good fit for your team, someone who aligns with what you've identified with your team as your core values. And I think the number one thing for us is to care. Like care, you hear me mention this all the time, but like it's so big. Like care about that email you send, care about that intro you made, care about how you're spending your time. And if people can't show that they care about the work that much, I don't feel like they're a part. I don't feel like they can be a part of my team in a meaningful way.
Another rapid fire from me. Sorry, I'm adding these in. What is your role in your business now? Are you editing or shooting at all for everybody out there? Just what is your main role in BizMedia?
No, I don't, because that would be a disservice to BizMedia, because I was lousy. I used to when I started. I business development and I guess trying to run the ship in a way, being able to figure out what we need to work on and the visionary stuff and putting into action with the team. So the management of the company and the business development. Business development being the tough thing, because I'm the only guy who really goes out there and meets new people and does the selling.
Perfect, man. 4 questions left and we'll be done. Thank you so much, man. We're almost done here. Appreciate it.
This is from Jim Dance from Dance Monkey Productions. Any advice to jumpstart the sales funnel?
To start it, I have a problem with that top part of the sales funnel, which is the lead generation. Again, I've alluded to the fact that we're not the best at marketing ourselves. We usually start where it's a little warmer, which is a good place to be. That's where you want to get people eventually. But most of our sales funnel begins right there in the middle. I think that I said this again, sorry if I'm redundant at times, but being loud and being proud of your stuff is what it's all about. Post all your work constantly on Facebook and Twitter. Let people know who you are and what you're doing. Show your work. You have to you want to be humble, but like you have to sort of flaunt your stuff a lot. And even if it sounds like it's like you're just shamelessly self-promoting. If you don't, then people just don't know what you do. So reach out to people. I told you I'm starting to do it even on LinkedIn. It's very cold, which is a new thing for me, but just be in people's face and constantly remind people of what you're doing. Ask people to post things. You know, you have to be a little shameless at times, especially when you're starting out, but if you're not constantly delivering that message, people aren't consuming it. They have nothing to consume.
Perfect.
All right, this is Jonathan Fritzler. What's up, Jonathan? He says, when did networking click for you?
Networking, when did it click? I half hate networking, and I half like it. And I hate it in the sense of, you know, you go to like a board of trade kind of meeting, and you sit down with a bunch of douchebags, and you're like, so what do you do? They don't care about what I do. They care about what their next vacation, and all what where they're gonna take their wives or their mistresses or whatever. That type of networking to me is horrible. I don't like it because it makes me uncomfortable, and I find it to be very disingenuous. And I think a lot of times people they forget about the word work in networking. And I think the best form of networking for us is those partnerships I was referring to. Because when I'm at TEDx Toronto, and we've done all the video work, and it's being played, and our logo comes up after, and all the people who are running it appreciate the hard work that we've contributed to making the event great, I have a much warmer reputation in that environment. It's not, people don't think I'm trying to sell them. People come to me when they feel I might have a need for video, and they get such great stuff at TEDx Toronto, and they say, oh, do you know where those BizMedia guys are? And so I say, oh, of course, they're over here. So my favorite networking is the environments where I've established a bit of reputation, and we've done a little bit of work to get there. So that's where I think it clicks for us. It's usually in environments where we're contributing in some factor. A lot of great companies I know, they have their own great events that are industry events or just social events and things like that. And when you can make it more about, put yourself in a higher position in that networking environment, I think that's meaningful networking, especially when you're contributing something that has to do with your skill and expertise. I'm not much into the cold networking kind of thing where you go and do your little elevator pitch and, and shake hands. It's always been very unnatural to me. Maybe I'm just not good at it.
I love networking when it works, and I hate it when it sucks. Pretty much like any other marketing thing, right?
Right.
We can learn to love something if we get awesome results every time,
Right.
All right. John Wallage, I'm worried about advertising that I'm ex-BBC and my promotion, as it might scare clients with a lesser budget away because they think they won't be able to afford my services. Do you think it would be better to put the BBC down in my clients list?
No way. You want them, I mean, it's great if you're, I find it's great if they think you're expensive, because then if they can afford it, I think they're getting a great deal. So why not? I know for me, if I were to hire any company for anything, and I see the work they've done, some great clients, some impeccable stuff, I like that over the company that exclusively worked with small companies I've never heard of. So flaunt it, and don't be afraid of what it costs for your services. Be confident in it. The onus is on you to prove that there's value to it. And if it's way out of budget for them, they'll tell you. I mean, if they only have $10,000 to spend on something, you're saying it's going to cost $20,000. Maybe there's some squeeze room, but at least you can have the conversation from there. But just there's a hard line between what you need to make for you to make a little bit of money for yourself and cover your costs, and your reputation should be something you should be proud of, and especially the fact that you work with BBC.
Great. That's it, man. We're out of questions.
Okay, well, I hope it was good. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, buddy,
man.
We
awesome.
truly
Thanks,
appreciate
Daniel.
you being on the call, man. And I'll see you in in a little over a month up in Canada. It'll be my first time visiting up there. I've got some other friends, so I'm excited to see Alex and Jason and everybody, so it'll be fun.
Great. Can't wait. Thanks again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. Peace, buddy. We'll appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Take care.
See you, bud.
Rock and roll. Love this
awesome
straight
show,
shoot.
man. Awesome show. Incredible. Love this content, man. What do you guys? This is I mean, I don't know. I'm speechless. Listen to me. I'm like fumbling all over my words. I mean, I just love coming on to this stuff, and I swear to you guys that before we started Create, I honestly thought there were very few other producers doing what I do that could actually teach me how to do it better. And so this has been just an awesome thing for me to be, you know, one of the co-founders of Create, but then also be a student every time we get on to this XI, you know, interrogation. It's just it's amazing.
Good stuff. Well, guys, we truly appreciate. We had a great call today. Appreciate you all being on here. Put the links on the chat for anybody that's new and you don't know about us. Chris and I have a site called Create Insights. Actually, the link that I have there is our success story. So if you guys are curious about the people that we've helped and the results that they've got, check that page out. And you know, we're super pumped because we started this to help video professionals take their business to the next level. So many guys out there, you know, doing great work that just can't figure out how to get business. And we know there's a big hole in our industry in regards to people be willing to give their information and their advice to help others, because so many people out there don't want to help anybody. They have that scarcity mindset. I know Daniel, if he was on here, would agree, and the friends that we have, you know, have that abundance mindset. There's plenty of work to go around for everybody. So let's partner up with our quote-unquote competitors. Let's work together. And so there's a lot of great stuff out there, but that's what we started this web show for too, is for you guys, for us to bring out different perspectives each and every week. We've got actually Steve Zugelter next week, who I believe I'm going to have him talk about nonprofits. I know he's had a lot of success with that. A lot of people have talked about that, so that's going to be a great talk. I believe the following week we have Chris Savage from Wistia that's going to be on here. And then the last week, if you're on expertinterrogations.com right now, you can see we have a GoPro giveaway contest. And we're going to give that away on the last call of the month with Griffin Hammond from Indie Mogul from YouTube. So he's going to be on here. We're going to give that camera away. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have any experts, use the suggest an expert box above this to suggest somebody you'd like to see on here. So it's going to be really great. And then, you know, all of our replays are always available. Drew Larson, what's up, buddy? Thanks for being on the call, and Tim Danio and all you guys. But right below every call, as soon as this is over, you can watch the replay of this. On the archives page, you guys can see all the old calls, and then right below the calls, it's a little drop down that says transcript. You can see every question that was discussed on the call, and you can see the time code, so you guys can go straight to those questions. If you can't make calls, you can always email us, info@createinsights.com, if you have an expert that you're really pumped about. Our awesome assistant, Keith, is on the call, so info@createinsights.com. And you guys can always, you know, use that or the submit a question box. Submit your question, and we'll email you back and tell you exactly where we answered it, you know, in case you can't make the call. We're here to help you guys. We're here to help you grow as video business professionals. There's so much tech out there, and there's so many people that already know how to shoot, or more people how to use the camera, blah, 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 but nobody's helping people grow their business. So that's what we're here for, guys. Be sure to check out the site, createinsights.com. That's on the screen right now if you guys are still in just listen mode. But yeah, that's about all I got today. We're super pumped for all you to be on here, and I hope you'll continue to support us in the future. We want to be here for many, many, many years to come. So we love this. I'm so passionate about this, and rock and roll. So Chris?
Couldn't say any better myself. Thanks, guys. We appreciate your support, man. See you soon.
Thanks so much, guys. See you later. Take care.